Atomic drones. Some thought it should have disintegrated. Instead, it came back. Out at the fireball over Bikini Atoll, through the boiling white stem of the fourth nuclear explosion in human history, a lone aircraft emerged, ghostly, intact, and covered in ice. The fighter had been blood red just moments before. Now it was pure white, flash frozen by the unnatural cold of the mushroom cloud. No pilot inside. No damage to the wings. Just a dripping, glistening phantom banking silently toward the sea. Witnesses called it the snow-white Hellcat, a drone that flew through an atomic bomb and came back stranger than it left. July 1st, 1946. Operation Crossroads, Bikini Atoll. The United States detonated a 23-kiloton bomb, codenamed Gilda, 520 feet above a ghost fleet of 95 warships anchored in the lagoon. As the fireball blooms, a new kind of warplane takes flight. A squadron of remotely piloted Grumman F6F-5K Hellcats launched from the carrier USS Shangri-La and controlled from nearby mother planes, circling at a safe distance. Repurposed from World War II, the aircraft was stripped of weapons and their cockpits packed with Geiger counters, filter bags, and cameras. And then they do the unthinkable. They fly straight into the mushroom cloud. The same heat that vaporized ships somehow flash froze the fighter in mid-flight. The transformation stunned even seasoned officers. One pilot, Lieutenant George Bright, said that the cloud smelled like overheated steel. Yet the Hellcat survived. Its ice melted before it landed, but not the radiation. It rose from the blast, an F6F Hellcat, blanketed in ice, untouched by the fire. Some called it a ghost, others a warning. War Thunder is where machines like that still fight, and where you take control. War Thunder is the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made, available now for free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and now mobile devices. Take command of over 2,500 tanks, jets, helicopters, and warships from 10 major nations, each model with chilling component-level precision, ranging from biplanes and armored cars of the 1920s to the fighter jets and main battle tanks of today. Join a worldwide community of 70 million players and clash across land, sea, and sky. No health bars, no shortcuts. With realistic graphics and authentic sound effects, each vehicle is modeled down to its guts. Fuel lines, engines, weapons, and the damage system is surgical. You'll see a single shell carved through armor like a scalpel. And now I can keep playing on the road, thanks to the new mobile version. It's fast, fluid, and just as intense as desktop. You can play War Thunder for free right now on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and mobile. New players and those returning after a 6-month break. Support Dark 5 by using my links in the pinned comment or video description to sign up and claim a massive bonus pack on PC or console. Multiple premium vehicles, 100,000 Silver Lions, 7 days of premium account, and the exclusive Eagle of Valor decorator. Limited time offer. Don't wait. War Thunder. The battlefield is waiting. Are you? Thank you to War Thunder for sponsoring today's video. The forest built in the desert. In May of 1953, deep in the Nevada desert, the United States government did something strange. They built a forest. Not in the name of ecology, but to see what would happen when a nuclear weapon ignited it. What followed was the encore test of Operation Upshot Knothole, one of the most visually spectacular events of the atomic age. 70 years later, the full results are still classified. They called it Project 811B. 145 full-grown ponderosa pines were cut from Mount Charleston, Nevada, hauled by truck into the Nevada test site, and bolted upright in the desert sand, each trunk planted in concrete boots 6,500 feet from ground zero. Their purpose was to give NATO planners a glimpse into how a forest might burn in Europe after a Soviet strike. A 27-kiloton atomic bomb was dropped from a B-50 bomber. The device detonated at 2,400 feet over Area 5, where the military had built an artificial suburb and the mysterious forest. Eyewitness footage, at least that which has been released, shows a blinding flash, trees briefly igniting, then vanishing in a wall of wind and dust. A U.S. Army H-19 was in the air within 60 seconds of detonation to conduct an aerial fire watch over the grove and the surrounding target area. Official reports said bark scorched, flames snuffed out. Neat, clean, controlled. But the full data set, still locked away. According to the Defense Threat Reduction Agency's own film catalog, several reels from Operation Upshot Knothole remain hidden behind national security restrictions, officially withheld under a Cold War-era designation known as Formerly Restricted Data. Among the missing reels and data, a high-speed infrared film that likely captured the exact moment the transplanted forests ignited. A full thermocouple report that may chart how hot the fire really burned, second by second, and a set of Firewatch helicopter logbooks, now partly deleted from the archive. Researchers have tried to get these records through FOIA. What they got back were redacted indexes, withheld pages, and one message repeated again and again. No records released. The reason? They don't just reveal forest fire behavior. They expose the thermal pulse signature of the weapon itself, data still embedded in top-secret modern nuclear firestorm prediction models. And there's something else. Declassified summaries mention that the ignition curves from Encore were used in later bunker designs. Some researchers believe they encode formulas that could reverse engineer the nuclear fire damage algorithms used in construction to this day. But the forest is gone, now just a grove of tree stumps encased by concrete and buried in the desert. Satellite images still trace faint lines where they stood, rows like teeth, set in ash. And somewhere in the vaults of a government that once grew forests just to burn them, a film still burns. The unseen record of trees igniting an atomic fire, and the science that remains too dangerous to share. The lost radioactive mannequins. They stood, frozen in place. Mothers at stoves, fathers in armchairs, children tucked neatly into bed. At 5:20 a.m. on March 17, 1953, they faced a 16-kiloton atomic bomb. 1 second later, their world disintegrated. One house vaporized, another held its ground, but no one inside survived. Because they weren't people, they were mannequins. Dressed in JCPenney's finest, tagged with names like John and Jane. Sent to die in America's first live televised nuclear attack. And then, they vanished. Today, not a single one can be accounted for. Codenamed Annie, the blast was part of Operation Upshot Knothole. But Annie wasn't just weapons testing, it was also a PR stunt. The Federal Civil Defense Administration called it Operation Doorstep, a demonstration to convince the American public they could survive the bomb if they took the threat seriously and took steps to prepare. They built Doomtown, a model suburb in the Nevada desert. 2 houses, 50 cars, 8 bomb shelters, stocked pantries, and mannequins donated by the LA Darling Company. Their clothing was courtesy of a JCPenney department store in Las Vegas. Each mannequin was tagged and posed with unsettling detail. Dad reading by the window, Mom cooking dinner, a child sleeping upstairs. When the bomb went off, flash heat melted the clothes. Shockwaves shattered windows. The scene was captured in eerie black and white footage, and then cleared away. Instead of being sealed away, 50 of the mannequins were taken to downtown Las Vegas. JCPenney proudly displayed their blast-scarred survivors only weeks later in its storefront at 6th and Fremont. They could have been you, read the double-page newspaper ad, which also featured before and after photos. Locals flocked to see them. And then, they were gone. No burial, no transfer record. One theory says they were buried in a trench at the test site. Others claim they were stashed in JCPenney's basement and slowly stolen by employees. Their metal name tags, supposedly engraved for radiation tracking, have also disappeared without a trace. 2 years later, the experiment was repeated with a stronger bomb, Operation Teapot, shot name Apple II. The fake town was bigger, more homes, more mannequins, and this time, beer. Yes, among the mannequins were rows of Schlitz and Pabst, tested to see if beer could survive the bomb. It did. Government scientists declared it drinkable, and the taste was deemed acceptable. A bizarre Cold War toast to resilience. After the blast, mannequins again lay scattered. One was found slumped on a toilet, another blown down the stairs. Today, 2 of those houses still stand in the Nevada desert. Empty. The mannequins are gone. The Atomic Museum has replicas. The Nixon Library has 2 mannequins, claimed to be originals from one of the tests, though that's never been proven. So where are they? Did they crumble in a trench, or still sit propped in a basement somewhere, arms melted, name tags lost to time? The Nazi bomb. In the final months of World War II, Soviet spies sent an urgent message to Stalin. They claimed the Nazis had just detonated a weapon in Thuringia, one powered by uranium, one so destructive that the bodies of prisoners were completely vaporized. At the same time, villagers watched a white flash rise into the sky. Some said it was bright enough to read a newspaper at midnight. And then came the nosebleeds. Officially, Nazi Germany never came close to building a working atomic bomb. Unlike the Manhattan Project, with its vast cities, 125,000 scientists, and $2 billion budget, Hitler's nuclear program was small, fragmented, and underfunded. And yet, hidden within that chaos were men like Kurt Diebner, Nazi loyalists running darker experiments, far outside the spotlight of Heisenberg's more famous uranium club. By 1944, Diebner had reportedly abandoned the idea of a traditional fission bomb. Instead, historian Rainer Karlsch believes they were experimenting with a hybrid device, one that used a shaped explosive charge to compress a core of plutonium dust or uranium oxide. The result wouldn't be a Hiroshima-scale blast, but something far smaller, tactical, local, but still lethal. Karlsch claims this device was tested not once, but 3 times. The first test allegedly took place on the island of Rugen in October 1944. Italian journalist Luigi Ramersa, then a war correspondent, later said he was flown to the site by Nazi officials on Mussolini's orders. He described a sealed bunker with lead glass windows, a flash, a shockwave, and then a flower-shaped column of smoke. Outside, nothing lived. The trees were ash, the sheep were cinders. He was told it was a disintegration bomb. The second and third tests allegedly took place in Thuringia in March 1945, just weeks before Nazi Germany collapsed. Eyewitness Claire Werner described a white column rising from the horizon. Survivors suffered headaches and other illnesses. SS labor crews disposed of what appeared to be hundreds of victims. Karlsch claims a Soviet espionage report from March 1945 warned that the Germans had detonated 2 uranium-based devices near Thuringia with highly radioactive effects, noting that POWs held near the blast site were completely destroyed. The report was serious enough to land on Stalin's desk. But there's a problem. When physicists tested the soil at Thuringia in 2006, they found nothing unusual other than lingering fallout from Chernobyl. No matching isotopes, no plutonium, no proof. Diebner and the other scientists, none ever spoke of a test. They took whatever they knew to their graves. Still, there are cracks in the silence. A long-lost German patent from 1941 does appear to describe a plutonium-based bomb. And in 2024, a declassified Soviet interrogation revealed that by early 1945, a Nazi official believed Germany was preparing to equip long-range bombers with atomic weapons for an attack on the Soviet Union. But with no bomb, no blast crater, and no survivors left to speak, the question lingers. Did Nazi Germany test the unimaginable? The fastest man-made object in history. August 27, 1957, Nevada desert. A 4-inch thick steel plate is welded over a 500-foot deep borehole. Below it, a nuclear bomb. The countdown begins. And in one blinding flash, Brighter than a million suns, the cap vanishes, caught in a single frame of high-speed film, and never seen again. Some say it was vaporized. Others believe it escaped Earth's gravity and became humanity's first accidental object in space, months before Sputnik. Operation Plum Bob was one of the largest and strangest nuclear test series ever conducted. Between May and October of 1957, the U.S. military unleashed 29 nuclear explosions in the Nevada test site and tested everything from missile warheads to pigs in suits. But buried deep beneath this chaotic arms race was an obscure experiment, barely a foothold in the official record. Codenamed Pascal B, it was designed not to destroy, but to contain. Physicist Robert Brownlee had been tasked with figuring out how to bury nuclear blasts underground without releasing radioactive fallout. So he placed a small plutonium device at the bottom of a narrow shaft and sealed the top with a 900-kilogram forged steel cap. What happened next wasn't part of the plan. Brownlee predicted the lid would fly off, so he pointed a high-speed camera at the borehole, shooting 1 frame per millisecond. At 0 hour, the 300-ton explosion vaporized a 2-ton concrete plug just above the bomb, turning the shaft into a cannon. The resulting shockwave, traveling at hypersonic speed, slammed into the cap. It appeared in exactly 1 frame. Then it was gone. Based on the distance it traveled in that instant, Brownlee calculated its speed, 125,000 miles per hour. That's 5 to 6 times Earth's escape velocity, the fastest human-made object in history, and possibly the first to reach space, launched by accident. The plate was never recovered. Search teams found nothing. Brownlee initially believed it vaporized during ascent, shredded by atmospheric pressure and heat. But years later, he wasn't so sure. After working on missile programs himself, he began to doubt it would have had time to disintegrate. The explosion had acted too quickly. The cap moved too fast. It must have reached space. In his own words, it sure happened. Others apparently felt so as well. The incident quietly inspired Project Thunderwell, an unused plan to launch spacecraft using underground nuclear steam guns. Today, that cap may be nothing but vapor, or it might still be out there, spinning endlessly through the void. A relic of Cold War fear, and one unforgettable miscalculation. Thanks again to War Thunder for sponsoring today's video. Remember, you can play War Thunder for free right now on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and mobile. Just sign up using my links in the pinned comment or video description. New players, and those returning after a 6-month break, will unlock a massive bonus pack on PC and consoles. Multiple premium vehicles, 100,000 Silver Lions, 7 days of premium account, and the exclusive Eagle of Valor decorator. But hurry, this exclusive offer won't last long. The battlefield is waiting. Jump in now, and thanks for supporting Dark 5. If frozen fighter jets, forests, and even mannequins can vanish from the record, what else from the nuclear age do you think we were never meant to see? Let me know in the comments. As always, thank you for watching Dark 5. Like and subscribe to continue exploring the greatest mysteries of this world and beyond.